Alana?
Yeah?
Jesus forgives, and apparently so do you.
Yeah.
I just sat down and I accidentally hit you with the side of my shoulder because I wasn't looking. But you were like a lot closer to me than I was expecting you to be.
I thought that you were going to move slightly, and
Well, because I wasn't looking in your direction.
Yeah.
And there's usually a little bit more room.
Uh-oh.
So sorry if I hurt you there, Jaylo.
That's okay. You didn't mean to. I mean,
and you said right before we started this that I didn't really hurt you.
It didn't hurt that much. It hurt a little bit, but it wasn't that bad. It's fine. I'm okay. I'm going to live.
I hope so.
And so will my nose.
Yes. You won't live forever, though.
No, of course not. But I will live in the time being.
We were talking about God last night. And I know I've said this a billion times, but let's make it 1,000,000,001. I believe...
I thought we talked about this on the...
No. This was when we were sitting on the couch after dinner.
Oh, okay.
Gun to my head, I believe that there is a God. I'm a little bit less convinced in the idea of an afterlife. And if there is an afterlife, I don't necessarily buy into the idea of heaven. So if I had to place the odds on an afterlife, I'd say 60-40 against, but 40% means that I'm not married to there's no afterlife. And we kind of got in the discussion, and you were trying to sell me on the idea of heaven, and you said, imagine...
I was trying to make you think about it, not necessarily sell you on it, but although that would be good if I did. But what I was trying to say...
Would you like a timeshare in heaven?
No. I heard timeshares are a nightmare if you own one.
Yeah.
Anyway, we could talk about timeshares later.
Yeah.
I would not own a timeshare. But what really, I don't know, I guess it might confuse me because, on one hand, you don't believe right now that there's an afterlife, but on the other hand, you say, oh yeah, I'm going to go there. So if you don't believe that there's an afterlife, that probably means that you're not going to go there.
Well, I mean, I say that in jest, right?
Oh, okay.
And I have theories. So what does Rick want to believe? Rick wants to believe that after I die, I can do anything I want, go anywhere I want, any time period, all that stuff. Because that's a fun belief, right? To believe you're going to have all these cool powers that you don't have now. But there's a difference between that's what I want and that's what I believe. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. And by the way, you won't have all these cool powers.
I won't.
But I think that because if you do end up in heaven, I think it's going to be totally different, that you won't even think about powers.
I got a question for you.
Oh.
Last night we were talking, and one of the ways you were trying to convince me that heaven was real was trying to say, well, imagine you don't have any of the anxieties you do now, and you also have complete sight.
Yes.
Why do you think that you're going to see when you're in heaven?
Because I believe that everything up there is perfect, because God is perfect, and he never meant for anyone to be imperfect, but that's what happened because of Adam and Eve's sin, and that was passed on to us. So I believe that when I get up there, and also I believe that when I do get up there, and when I am finally and you've heard about being reunited with glorified body, right? You've heard that doctrine before, right?
I've heard I've heard the idea, but I don't necessarily remember it all.
Okay, so during I'm sorry, maybe I should get my thoughts together. So in Revelation, when Jesus comes back to take his believers, they will be resurrected into their glorified bodies, which means that our bodies as they are now, if you're a believer, is going to fail us. We're going to have a lot of pains and aches and all that.
Oh.
But when a believer, he or she, is resurrected into their glorified bodies, everything will be whole. So no flaws, no disabilities, nothing like that. But as far as when I do get up there, if I die before, if I die before then.
Yeah.
I do believe that I will know what I wouldn't understand here, but I also believe that I am not going to be the blind person I am on earth, because I don't think that God meant for us to be imperfect or meant for us to die, because it wasn't supposed to happen that way.
See, I would make a counter argument to that. And what I would say to you is God designed Adam and God gave him Eve and God put the serpent there. So God, knowing all this, why did he make it a sin to eat from the tree of knowledge?
Well, first off, God didn't put the serpent there. Satan went himself. He wanted to deceive. He couldn't deceive heaven, so he came down and deceived Adam and Eve, and he's still deceiving the people of the world today. It's not God who put him there. He put himself there.
Okay, I think
he has the ability to go to and fro.
I think you know what I'm about to say, but I'm going to maybe articulate it anyways, is could God have stopped Satan? And did God know that Satan had the ability to get into the
He could, but here's the thing that you're not quite understanding. There are prophecies that have to be fulfilled before this happens. It can't just happen the way that we want it to happen, because God's not a genie. And there are some things that have to happen before Satan and the beast and the false prophet are thrown into the lake of fire. So it's not going to happen the way that we want it to happen, is what I'm trying to say.
But what I'm trying to say is your assumption that God made us to be perfect. I would disagree with that.
No. I said I never said that. I said he never meant for us to be that way. He never meant for us to die. He didn't want us to die. But because of Adam's sin, the reason why we die is because of sin.
Right, but God could have made nothing in the Garden of Eden sinful. So if Satan does get his hands in there, well, what is he going to do? Nothing he can do can make Adam sin. And also,
but wait, what?
If God said there's no sins in the Garden of Eden, well, who cares if Satan gets in there then? There's nothing he can really do at that point.
No, but that's what he did, though. That's what I'm trying to say. There was nothing in the Garden of Eden that was sinful, because it was supposed to be perfect the way that God wanted it to be. But God never put Lucifer there. He chose to do that himself.
Right, but
and what I've been trying to tell you is that we can't just put God in a box or a lamp and say, well, you need to stop this thing, because he doesn't work that way, bud.
No, but what I'm trying to say is, why keep the tree of knowledge there then? Because if you don't keep the tree of knowledge there, there's no sins to be committed in the Garden of Eden, as far as I understand.
Well, he told them not to eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. I don't know why it was there. Don't ask me why. I don't know why it was there. But he told them specifically, don't eat that, because if you eat that, you're going to die, but spiritually.
See, and
but see, this is where I'm trying to get you to understand this, and I don't know if I'm being clear about this. God isn't some genie that you can just say, "Oh,
right.
I wish for you to stop this."
I get that, but
okay.
But what I'm trying to say is,
and I didn't finish my point.
Oh my goodness!
Ouch!
Ouch! You tickled me, and I accidentally bumped you in the head. So,
Ow.
Babes, that did hurt.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, Babes.
And I hurt too.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. But what I'm trying to say, Babes, if God really didn't want humans to face death and all this stuff, it's kind of easy if this omnipotent thing doesn't want that to happen. Just don't put your tree there.
Well, okay.
Plant it someplace else.
Well, here's the thing you're not understanding.
Yeah.
Now, yes, it would have been great if the Garden of Eden wasn't touched, but if that didn't happen, Jesus wouldn't have gone to the cross and died for the sins of mankind, past, present, and future. And that, I would rather have that. I honestly would rather have that than what it could have been.
Well, okay, so if we're going to go with the idea of the Christian God, then I would push back on your idea that God never never meant for us to be mortal and never meant for us to die. And I would say, but this is like God saying, okay, I'm using Satan as the key to get everybody into this world where they die. And yeah, I made them perfect, but that was just for a time being. It wasn't meant to be forever. They were eventually meant to have all these diseases.
No, it's because of disobedience, Bubs.
Oh.
I don't think you're understanding it. It's not that, well, he could have done this. It's because Adam and Eve disobeyed him, and now they're being judged. And if you think of God as a parent instead of a genie, then you might understand it a little bit. You know, sometimes you have to be disciplined by your parents, but apparently I guess they weren't very good at that.
Oh my goodness.
You even said they weren't.
No, but...
Well, what I'm trying to say is... hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. I know you're worked up here. What I'm trying to say is... thinking about God as an actual parent, a spiritual parent, it's not that he couldn't stop it. It's that there has to be prophecies fulfilled before this stops, and he is going to bring judgment on people that are not under his care, because that's the kind of God he is. He isn't just a loving God that loves everybody, but he's also a just God, and you have to understand that, because and it's not up to us to tell God what to do. He's going to do whatever he wants to. That's he created this world, and he can do what he wants with this world. But I would rather have Jesus dying on the cross for my sins and yours than what could have happened if the Garden of Eden wasn't touched, because I don't know what could have happened.
Okay. We are getting kind of stuck on semantics, and in a way it is my fault.
Yes, it is.
So I'm going to try to wrap this up with a few thoughts. One, you're saying look at God with a parent, and we can assume that God would be a good parent, right?
Of course.
I am. Do good parents try to set up their kids to fail?
Who said that God was setting his kids up to fail? You're the one who said that.
I mean, my examples would be, well, if you know Satan can get in here and tempt you, then don't plant your tree in there, bro.
This is where free will comes into play, Bubs.
Go ahead,
you want to know about free will?
Yeah.
This is exactly where it comes into play. Because people can choose to follow Jesus or follow the prince of the power of the air, that's Satan, who is ruling this world right now. And you may laugh, but that's where free will comes in. You are free to not follow God, or you are free to follow God. That's all I'm going to say for this. It's your fault, Bub. Now get on to the next subject. Okay. I'm just kidding.
Give me a kiss then.
Ow.
The war doesn't end if you don't give me a kiss. All right, one more biblical question.
No.
But here's the thing. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Adam and Eve get kicked out of the Garden of Eden. Yep. But why do their kids have to be out of there?
Well, okay. You remember, though, Adam and Eve were the first people to, who sinned, right?
Yeah.
Adam and Eve had a couple of kids.
Right.
Cain and Abel. And Cain and their son Cain committed the first murder because he murdered his own brother. I don't know if you read that story.
I vaguely remember that, but what I'm asking you is why, after they're born, why doesn't God just come and take the kids and put them in the Garden of Eden?
I don't know, Bub.
Ouch! I mean, that's a good parent.
Okay, enough.
I have a question. We don't like being questioned.
No, Bubs, come on. No. Okay. Maybe I should answer it this way. I don't know. I can't answer all of your answers because I really don't know why God did what he did and did not take the kids out. I know why Adam and Eve were no longer allowed to live in the garden, but I don't know why their kids were. Now when after Cain murdered Abel because God knew about it, he was banished to the land of Nod. So I guess the land of Nod is the land of endless wandering, which isn't a good place to be banished to.
That sucks.
That's east of Eden. So I can't answer as to why he didn't put the kids there, and why would he put the kids there? Our parents aren't there.
Yeah, but God's like the spirit of the parents, so like you would think that one great parent would be
like I said, Bubs. You can't you can't think of God as a person that's going to do everything you want him to do.
No, but you said yourself think of God like a parent.
I know, but what I mean by that is he's not like any other parent.
Oh.
He will he'll love he will love everybody, but he's also going to judge people too.
Oh.
Just like he judged Cain, and just like he judged Adam and Eve. And is your head okay, bub?
Yeah, my side feels a little bit weird because you were just attacking it for no reason. You should learn how to like fight your arguments with words instead of going all
Hey,
physical.
Bubs, like I said, you bring it out of me, and sometimes it's not always good for you.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Let's have intellectual discussions instead of you just attacking me.
I don't always do that.
You don't always do that, but most of the time. Who do you think you are, God?
Hey.
Give me a kiss.
What I think I am is the renter of this apartment.
Okay.
At the moment.
Uh-oh.
And the bio of groceries.
Uh-oh. Well, I love you.
No, I'm just kidding.
And I'm the maker of the food and the one
Yeah.
who helped you get your furniture.
Oh my goodness. And the hostess with the mostest.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But you're welcome.
What?
I love you. Yeah. I guess the point is I haven't seen enough compelling evidence that there is an afterlife. And even if I did, that doesn't necessarily, I mean, if you don't count my out-of-body experience, where Zolana says we can't count that for some reason.
We can't because you weren't even sober at the time.
Right, but how do you know that God didn't use that as a means to communicate with me? But also...
It's highly suspect.
Also, I would say a proof of an afterlife doesn't necessarily prove that the Christian God exists. Either.
Well, like I said, read books on apologetics. I think there's a lot to be said about that. And I want to read some too, because that would give me a little bit more confidence to share what I believe, because sometimes it's hard for me to do that. I don't always have a way to articulate my answers to questions like that.
Now, luckily for you, God made me an excellent questioner, and that's helping you define your role in the Christian church and what you want it to be. And so I think in a way I'm helping you answer questions better. If you could accept me into your heart and not attack me when I ask you.
I already accepted you into your heart, but
Into
my heart.
Your heart, yeah.
My heart, bub. I already gave you my heart.
Oh, good.
And you gave me yours.
Yeah.
Now be careful with mine.
Okay, I'm not going to juggle with it.
Oh, I hope not.
No, but yeah, so I don't know. The Christian God thing seems a little bit outlandish.
But
to me,
I think
who knows?
I think it's good that you're questioning it. I'm glad that you haven't completely dismissed it, but I also think it's very good that you're questioning it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different world religions out there. To just assume that one has the right path, I find a little bit suspect. But that's just me.
Well, then that's when your digging needs to start.
Oh, hey, give me a shovel.
Oh.
But I love you, babes.
I love you, bub.
I love my Christian Jaylo.
Bubs,
What? Sorry.
why do you have to do that?
Sorry, a force of habit.
Why?
I know you don't like it when
It's
I
annoying.
do the southern voice.
It's annoying, Bubs.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
Alana thinks that the South is filled with like tons of intellectuals. There are intellectuals.
I never said that.
No.
I just think that the South has been stereotyped to be just conservative Christians when there are gun-toting liberals too there.
There are.
There too.
There are.
Rather.
And there are, and you know this, there are conservative atheists. There are conservative.
That doesn't make any sense to me. I still don't get that.
There are people who are liberal but who have some conservative views. And I would consider myself kind of falling a little bit in that category. But in my liberal views, I'm usually pretty liberal. Actually, I don't know if I don't know. I don't know what I am.
I don't think you're all that liberal.
I think I'm pretty lib.
I think you're lib on a lot of things, but I don't think you're so lib to the point where you won't talk to anybody.
Well, it's the liberals who want to have the marketplace of ideas for the most part.
No, it isn't. It's not. Not every liberal is like that. In fact, maybe I would group them into categories like the radical liberals don't. because there are some liberals that will talk. And if you're talking about the liberals from our parents' generation that actually were for free speech, I can buy you on that one. I can buy that one. But if you're talking about radical leftists that want to cancel everybody, even the ones in their camp or close to being in their camp, then I would disagree with you on that.
And there are also radical people on the right who don't want to talk to anybody. For instance, I was... What?
Are we going to talk about this over again?
Bubs, I got my point out.
No, Bubs. Okay. I thought we were going to talk about other stuff.
We will. Real quick. They did a story on TYT last night. Apparently there's a lot of conservatives... And I know that you're not an Elon Musk fan.
No, not really.
I do appreciate that.
I don't even think Elon Musk is that conservative, to tell you the truth.
I know you don't think that way. But apparently there's this conservative group on Twitter who have been filing complaints against liberal accounts and then reaching out to Elon Musk and saying, why aren't you banning these people? And we know about this because they've been talking about it on conservative chat boards.
We know about this? Who's we?
Well, I told you, so now you know about it.
That doesn't constitute we.
My whole point, babes, is conservatives don't necessarily believe in free speech as much as they say they do.
I think most of them do. I think there are some that don't. And I would say conservatives are critical of other conservatives too. You know, we don't always flock together. You know, that, like I said, there's infighting in the Republican Party. The ones who claim to be conservatives and the ones that really are. And they don't like cancel culture. And so, I mean, there's some infighting going on.
Yeah, and I do think that's something you do that is a little bit concerning, is when you say somebody will claim to be conservative, even if they have one or two views that go against what you believe. But
I'm sorry, but that's just the way I think. If you are going to say that you are part of a certain party, but you're not representing the views of what that party is representing, then I wouldn't call them who they think that they are. That's just how I think.
Where's the room for free thought in that? If you have to be aligned with somebody on pretty much every single view.
Well, wait a minute, though. I would buy it if they were independents, because there are conservative independents, there are liberal independents. But if you're going to be conformed to a party, if you're going to be associated with a political party and you're not straight down the line, then there's some question there. Because if a person who claims to be conservative in the Republican Party and they do some shady dealings with the Democrats, I would question that.
Oh, but my thing is, in your opinion, does a Republican have to agree with you on politics 100% of the time?
The question you should be asking is, would they be able to represent the people that are a part of that party? Yes, I believe that.
You believe that they would have to...
Not with... I'm not talking about me personally. Okay. I'm talking about what the party stands for.
And I would counter that by saying, and then we can move on from this, is, well, how would any party grow if they just have to represent the same old views year after year?
But wait a minute. You don't understand, though, because if you're looking at the establishment, the Republican, and it doesn't even matter if it's Republican or Democratic establishment people, right?
Yeah.
The Republicans the Republican Party, from what I understand, has dealt with people that won't do that dealt with establishment people that are too nice, and they actually won't stand for anything. And most people in the Republican Party think that if somebody who has been in the party for years is not going to challenge certain views and actually do something about it, like, for example, Lindsey Graham, right?
Yeah.
I can't stand the man. I think he should leave. I don't think he should be in the party anymore because he's not doing his job. He was more concerned about helping Ukraine, but The problem with that is that he doesn't care about what happens in our country, and that's not representative of what the Republican Party as a whole believe. They believe that yes, we should help Ukraine, but at the same time, we've given a lot of aid to other countries. We have to help our country now because our country is in shambles at the moment, and he's done, and Lindsey Graham has sat on his hands and said some things that sounded like he was going to do something about it, just like Mitch McConnell has done.
Yeah, I'm.
But I'm not finished yet.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, the new Republicans that are coming into the party are tired of the establishment, and they want something new, and they want actual Republicans that are going to do the work instead of the establishment ones that are too nice.
Okay. We will move on from this, but I just have a couple more questions.
Bubs.
No, we're going to. I don't want to defend Lindsey Graham or Mitch McConnell. They're horrible human beings.
And I will not defend them.
Yeah,
either.
hence the nickname Bitch McConnell.
That's what you called them.
That's what you called them.
No, that's what you
in
called
private.
You no, did. You did.
You actually,
no, you
no,
did.
you didn't. You didn't.
You did.
I did. I think it's a funny nickname for him. But I guess the way I would push back is, well, what does it mean helping people here at home? So, for example, is it okay to be upset with Donald Trump for taking money from Saudi Arabia?
When did he do that? And
he's
why
doing
are we
that.
Talking about that?
Well, but we're talking about America first, right?
No, he's never taken money from Saudi Arabia.
Why
Where
are there?
That from?
Well, you can find this out. This is not just some lefty media conspiracy thing. Why are there these Saudi Arabian golf events happening at all of his golf courses?
I don't know. I have no idea. And what does it even matter?
Bubs, he broke into the golf courses himself.
Bubs.
He's a good man.
Stop.
Bubby. I thought we were done.
All right.
I know you like to talk about politics all day, but we have other things to talk about,
Bob, you made a good point, so let's move on. Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss.
No.
Yeah.
You're making fun of me now.
No, I don't believe in making fun
You just laughed at me earlier.
Well, that was early, and my beliefs have changed.
And it was a minute ago.
My beliefs have changed.
And it was a minute ago.
My beliefs have changed since then, babes.
No.
Give me a kiss then.
Why?
Because you need one. Because you're stressed out for some reason, and I don't know why.
Oh,
Give me a kiss.
It's you, bubbies.
Oh.
I love you, but you bring it out of me, bubby.
Oh.
Let go of my arm.
All right, then don't tickle me.
I'm not tickling you.
Okay.
I wasn't going to.
Okay, good.
But I might later.
Oh my goodness.
If you're bad boy.
I'm not bad boy. That's the thing.
In which case, sometimes you are, and I gotta keep
I'm not.
you in line.
I'm never a bad boy. We know that, babes.
Well, you bad.
No, I don't believe in that, babes.
No, you made fun of me last night.
That was a joke. I don't even remember what I said.
Oh, good.
What did I say?
Nothing.
Did it trigger you?
Huh?
Did it trigger you?
No, I was a little bit irritated because you make fun of me about that.
Oh.
You make fun of me. You make fun of me for the littlest things.
Do I?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I still love you, babes.
But I don't make fun of you.
Oh, I love you, babes.
I take the brunt of his jokes, folks.
I don't know about that.
Or maybe I should say I'm often the butt of his jokes.
No, I would like it, babes, and I'm not going to push this. Because I know that you don't like talking about this at all. So please don't attack me immediately when I say this. I do think it would be beneficial for you if you got a test to see if you're dyslexic. No, babes. It's why.
I didn't promise you that I wasn't going to do that.
No, babes.
I am not dyslexic.
Babes. But babes, here's we don't. You're gonna push this over. So please don't attack.
Then move over this way.
Okay, but then you could just take a test to confirm it.
Why?
I
don't need to take one.
One, you shut me up. Isn't that worth something?
Bubs, I don't have to do everything to shut you up. Well, if you took this test and I would shut up about it. Well, if you watch this movie, I'd shut up about it. What if I don't want to?
Then I guess you don't want me to shut up about it. Babe, no. Don't grab the iPad because we'll record with that.
Bubby.
I love you, babes.
Give me your nose.
No. Give me a kiss.
I'm boxing his ear.
Oh my goodness, give me a kiss. I love my Twigger too. Ow. I love my Twigger too.
Only when it comes to you, Bubby.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know. You kind of frustrate me sometimes.
Uh-oh.
I love you. Don't worry. I'm not going to hurt you.
Well,
I love you.
I'm here to challenge you, babes, and to help you grow.
Yes, you are challenging. That's for sure.
Oh my goodness.
More ways than one. I got my work cut out for me, don't I?
I guess so, babes.
Oh.
You know, I'm here to lead you to the promised land, so.
What promised land is that? The land of chocolate?
Oh my goodness.
The land flowing with chocolate?
Leave the jokes to me, okay?
Uh-oh. Okay.
Well, Jaylo.
Yes.
We can, at least we can agree that I am a great man, even if you get triggered by me sometimes.
You're great when you want to be.
Yes, which is all the time. And now, babes.
No, I'm not saying you're not great. I'm just saying that,
Yeah.
a little bit cocky.
And somebody next to me is a little bit stubborn. But Jaylo.
Oh, you already knew that before we even dated.
I know, but I thought, maybe you were exaggerating it.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, Bobby, I don't like change.
Hey!
But,
You
last
see,
night.
again.
Okay, we're moving on, babes.
Okay.
Like you wanted.
Okay.
We had cheeseburgers for dinner.
We did. It was really good. You know what? I don't even care, and I don't think I said this. I haven't said this yet. I don't even care if the shapes were funny.
Yeah. Because it had been a minute since I'd made hamburgers, meaning like over 10 years.
So explain to me, because I was chopping lettuce when you were doing this. How did you form the meat into patties with the spatula?
Okay, so I formed them into balls, placed them in the skillet, and then I took your spatula and I pressed down on them.
Okay, I heard that works.
Yes.
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 It was super good. We had them with Tillamook cheddar cheese, and they were slices, and then we put some blue cheese on that with bacon, round dill pickles, and
lettuce.
lettuce, and I had ketchup, and you had barbecue sauce on yours.
And blue cheese.
I said that.
Okay. And we doubled it.
Yes.
So, because I really remember enjoying the double Whopper with cheese and the double quarter pounder back in the day.
Yum.
So
I haven't had that in a while.
Yeah, neither have I. So we kind of did it like that. So they were a little bit hard to hold, but I thought they were good.
Yes, they were. And they were messy. The first burger I had was falling apart. And I was getting full. And I asked you, could you just make me a single one?
Mm-hmm.
And I was glad that I ate everything because it was delicious.
Yeah.
And I told you, I said, you can make a burger for me anytime.
Oh, good.
Bye-bye.
Good. So what I did was I cooked the patties with the bacon because that way the bacon fat and grease would mix up.
Super good.
With it. And I also put in some butter in the skillet too.
And then the second round of burgers, you put the pickles in there for a little bit.
At the very end, when I turned off the skillet, before it cooled down completely, I threw in the pickles to kind of heat them up. Yeah.
Super good.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Super good.
We will probably remake those like early next year.
Mm-hmm.
And when we do, I'd like to make the buns as well.
Mm.
And take it to the next level and do like a special sauce.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll freeze some of the bacon because we still have some bacon left over.
Oh.
And if I freeze it, I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
Yes?
It might be good stuff, babes.
Yeah.
Do you not eat bacon that often?
I don't eat bacon very often, no.
Okay.
I like bacon. I like bacon once in a while for sure.
How many days out of the week do you eat breakfast?
Pretty much every day.
Wow.
Now when you're over, I always try to have something for breakfast. Or before you come over, rather, I try to have something for breakfast. Or if not, I'll at least drink something warm, like I'll have a mug of cocoa or something like that.
Yeah.
Or a piece of fruit. But I don't feel good unless I start my day off by eating something. It's so innate in me, because when I was a kid, I always ate breakfast before I went to school, and I always liked breakfast, especially when my dad would make breakfast because he makes really good breakfast.
What did you have yesterday morning before I got here?
You know what? I didn't have anything. I was in a rush. A lot of times before you get here, I'm in a rush and I don't have a lot of time to eat anything because I get up like at 6 and I get in the shower and I change and I clean up a little bit and then I have to make sure, like, if I order groceries, that the groceries get here. So I'm busy with that.
Oh.
And so that doesn't give me a lot of time to have breakfast unless I have breakfast before I do anything else.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I have breakfast like every day of the week.
Interesting. Okay. Nice.
And I don't eat bacon very often, so it was a real treat to have bacon.
Oh, cool.
Again, because we had bacon in the green bean casserole, which was super good.
Yeah.
And bacon just makes things taste better.
It does.
It does.
It does. I'm wondering if we should make that for my birthday. The green bean casserole again. We could get another turkey, some honey baked ham.
That all depends on if I get a turkey, though.
Oh, well, I could bring over a turkey.
You could.
Or we could have 2 turkeys. Or I could bring over a turkey and I take one home. Or we make another Christmas dinner like 2 days later. We'll get some honey baked ham. We'll go all out. We'll do mashed potatoes. Gravy. And have a good meal there. Jaylo.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the mashed potatoes worked really well on my skillet. It took a while for it to warm up, though, but I think once it got hot, it was fine.
Yeah.
That was a mess to clean up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, those potatoes can, if you don't clean them up right away, or if you leave them there for like however long it is, it's sometimes it gets hard to get out of the skillet, but I got it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
That's something to think about. I'm still trying to decide on whether or not I'm going to go and see my family for New Year's.
Mm-hmm.
I also have to think about when my classes are going to start, because if I'm going to go for New Year's, I'm not going to stay very long, probably.
Yeah, I could see that. If you go for New Year's, I might go to the Polyrhythmic show.
Ah.
I don't know. Tickets are cheap. It's not too far away from where I live.
Wow.
But I would like to know quickly. So if you don't go, we can, chill out here, watch some movies, smoke the peace pipe, all that stuff.
I'm not going to be doing that.
Uh-oh.
But
you know what I heard, babes?
What?
Well, if you go, I might be doing that. But nah, I'm just joking, babes.
No, you're not.
Okay. Apparently yesterday, some company downtown got in trouble for selling psilocybin mushrooms.
Ooh. Good.
I don't know if that's good, babes, that they got in trouble.
Yeah, good.
Well, it is going to become legal medically next year.
Oh yeah, we'll see. We'll be dealing with people high on psychedelics. That's going to be great.
They're saying that you have to do it in a medical setting, and the regulations will be released on how to implement that.
Yeah, and look what's happening with medical marijuana. People are using that as an excuse to abuse it. So I don't know. I'm very skeptical about how this is going to work.
Yeah, people are, and then there's other people who are using it as an excuse to expand their mind too. So you're always going to have people who abuse it, but the other side of the coin is you're going to have people who use it to become better human beings.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. I'm very skeptical about how this is going to to affect everyday people that aren't on these things. I just think I think the whole thing is ridiculous, to tell you the truth.
Well, they're saying that we're going to have medical distribution of psilocybin by middle of next year. And I would say, it never should have been illegal, but at least we're getting
it. Never should have been legal in the first place.
Well, babes.
Bubs, we can get Bubs. I'm not trying to start a drug war debate, but I just think the whole thing is ridiculous.
Are you familiar? You're gonna love this, but are you familiar with the stoned ape theory?
The what?
The stoned ape theory.
The stoned ape theory?
Yeah.
What is that?
Okay, so I hope I don't screw this up too much.
You probably will, but
I probably will, but
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Thank you. one theory is because people say, well, how did we evolve and become this intelligent? And some people believe that it was the Christian God. But some other people think that what might have happened is because...
Yeah, I like your mocking Tony. Say, it's a Christian God.
Well, I'm telling you what some people believe.
Mocking.
No, and some people on this bed may believe that. But... What?
You're a mocking boy.
I know I'm not. So, but other people have speculated, and we don't know this for sure, that, and I know it sounds kind of funny, but it does make kind of sense if you think about it, that maybe there was a point in our evolution where some ape-like creatures started eating psilocybin mushrooms that were found in cow manure. And they just kept having this as part of the diet for a number of generations. And eventually those apes evolved into what we would call prehistoric humans.
That sounds ridiculous.
Well, it's a theory, babe.
I know that's why it is a theory. It hasn't been proven.
Oh my goodness. But you know that other people also believe that, not necessarily that, but that people took psychedelics to communicate with like Egyptian gods back in the day.
Yeah, that's exactly why psychedelics, to me, and any kind of drug use, I think that that opens the door to more occult-like behavior.
You know what? I don't necessarily disagree with you on that.
And that's why I think that it's gone so out of control, because I don't like the idea of like mediumship, right?
Yeah.
That sounds really cuckoo to me.
Mm-hmm.
And people communicating with the dead. Well, a lot of times, people, what I understand is that what people would do is they'll take an amount of mushrooms or whatever it is, and they will feel like they're communicating with their dead loved ones. And it sounds really weird to me.
So here's the thing. There is some cause for concern there, but also one could make the argument that maybe this is a tool you can use to communicate with higher powers or spirits, or however you want to label it. And I only say however you want to label it because I don't know that we have the right label for it, right? So yes, there probably is a correct label, but we don't have it at this point, at least not that I'm aware of. So maybe this is a tool for that. Maybe you take these and it's like you get like a phone line. It's like getting an old phone card from like Costco back in the day, and you have a couple hours where you can communicate with different spirits.
But wait, being on the phone with someone is not the same thing as conjuring up spirits, whether you're using some kind of a cauldron or whether you're taking your drug of choice. It's a totally different thing. And in a world where people are self-medicating, I find it very disheartening that people will turn to a drug instead of dealing with their problems.
You do say some stuff that is true, but let me sort of break it down for you. One, it's an analogy. And analogies aren't necessarily going to be perfect. So I'm trying to compare something to give like a good example of this is what it might be like. It's not to say that it's 100% like it, but it's so you can compare it in your mind. And I would make the argument too, we don't necessarily want people self-medicating, but our country has done such a horrible job on dealing with shamans and outlawing certain shamanic practices that's why we have so many people self-medicating these days.
I don't know if that's a good excuse for that.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
Uh-oh.
I mean, maybe the shamans were not... Maybe, I don't know. I don't know much about shaman behavior. I know that in ancient Hawaii they had shamans, but I don't know. I don't quite understand their behavior. And every time I think of the name the word shaman, I think of Miss Cleo.
I hear you.
Call me now.
And well, okay, so there was definitely shamans in certain indigenous cultures here too. I would make the argument that, yeah, I'm sure that there were a lot of fraud shamans throughout the generations, just like I'm sure that there were a lot of fraud preachers through the years. True. Two, but just because there's frauds in that field doesn't mean that you discredit everybody.
But then if you're thinking about the people like medicine men or women that used like Eastern traditions of medicine where they're using natural things to
Yeah.
cure people. That's one thing that maybe that may be good. But then if you're talking about people that are saying, oh, if you take this, you can communicate with whatever spirit you want to communicate, that's when I'm just like, I don't know.
Well, but maybe
Opening up the chakras.
exactly,
a little bit.
but maybe we're looking at it wrong. Maybe another way you could look at it is they're saying, well, I work with the body, and the brain is part of the body, and if somebody's suffering from something that could be a brain thing, we can take these chemicals that could help them go through something that maybe help repair their brain, just like I would give them something else to help with their stomach. This is just the tool for the brain.
Well, what about those people that are
The medicine for the
prescribing? Okay, but what about the doctors that are prescribing antidepressants, right? We've had this conversation about
Yeah.
antidepressants and chemicals that, and this is where it gets really tricky with like disorders like bipolarism
Mhm.
or schizophrenia.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing. Like, are they really helping people or are they not helping people? I know that there's a lot of studies that back up that antidepressants may not be good for people's brains after all.
Yep.
And that really messes with your hormones. But I don't know. I don't know about the shaman thing though.
Well, what if instead of looking at shrooms like Rick does, where Rick is like, oh, I'm gonna do shrooms and have such a good time, bro. What if instead of looking at it like that, you looked at it like this is an alternative to prescribing somebody who's going through something like schizophrenia? For them, this is an alternative to the big pharma. This could be an alternative if used in the right setting.
I still don't buy it. I really don't. I mean, I'm very, very skeptical about it because shrooms have different effects on people. I don't know that that's the healthiest thing for a person's brain either. So I just think that a lot of people are using it to self-medicate, and they're not. To me, it seems like they don't want to deal with their problems, so they just pop another shroom or another pill into their mouth and think that everything's going to go away.
And I don't necessarily disagree with you that there's people who abuse the system. Of course there are. But I would make an argument. That's why it's good to have some medical focus on it. So that way, like maybe the answer to your depression isn't that you do 30 shrooms every day for the rest of your life, but it could be that doing 5 shrooms once every 6 months is a big help for you, right? But if we put an emphasis on medical research with these things, maybe we come to a better understanding of how to use it so less people abuse it.
But then if it was so great medically, then why are people having hallucinations? Why? Why? If it was such a good thing for people, why are people having hallucinations? Why can't they walk very well?
Okay.
That's a valid question.
It's a valid question, and I don't have all the answers, but let me try to give you an answer and put the caveat on that this is Rick's opinion as of, December 2022. A year from now could be completely different. I would say, well, you hallucinate already, but it's good for you. And when I say you hallucinate, I mean you have dreams. That's your body processing something. And they say that dreams are good for you and that sleep is good for you as well, because it helps you figure stuff out. It helps your body digest certain toxins that otherwise couldn't be digested. So maybe you could look at shrooms like, yeah, you have hallucinations, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad for you. In the same way that dreaming is a plus to your life, having hallucinations through psychedelics could also add to your existence.
But dreams are our body's natural way of dealing with, or subconsciously dealing with, in some ways what was going on in our lives, or like dealing with anxiety. But that's our natural body's way of processing things in our sleep.
Yeah, but mushrooms grow naturally too.
Yeah, so
So it's a plant. It's a fungus.
Mushrooms. I mean, when I'm thinking about mushrooms, I'm thinking about the mushrooms you cook.
Right, but you know that psychedelic mushrooms also grow naturally. They grow in cow manure, but they don't just grow in cow manure. That's just the most common place.
The mushrooms, like the mushroom, like baby bellas and the caps and stuff, they don't grow in cow manure. They grow in other.
Right, but you also know that psychedelic mushrooms, while they grow in cow manure, that they're not exclusive to that. They also grow in nature. And don't just take my word, you can research that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you research that, you will find that I'm correct with that. So it's a natural, if we can assume that, and I feel comfortable assuming that based on all the things I've read, and I think if you do the research, you will feel comfortable in assuming they grow naturally, then we can assume that Mother Earth, or Earth, let's just call it Earth that God created these resources for us. It's possible that people are abusing this resource, but if used correctly, it is a resource that God put on this planet for us. I would just invite you to look into that.
Oh, boy.
And try looking into some alternative websites or alternative books that you might not read.
But we kind of got off of the... we kind of got off of our subject here. The burgers are super good.
Yeah.
I'd like to make it again. I guess maybe we could either use the leftover bacon for whatever we cook next time, which means after today.
Yeah.
Because we have other things that we're going to make. Burritos. And I could save it for the next time. I'll probably freeze it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking maybe we could make some burgers for your birthday, maybe.
Instead of turkey?
I mean, either one. I don't know.
I really, turkey might be good, but maybe if you stay here, maybe we do burgers for New Year's. That's a possibility.
Okay.
And I bring over some pre-made buns and we make the sauce.
Ooh. Yeah, I had to decide. I also had to check ticket sales.
Yeah, you have to decide fairly soon, just because one, it's coming up, but two, I imagine prices for tickets back where you're from or where you used to live.
And I also have to do some asking about when classes are going to start too, so I can kind of plan things.
Yeah, they're starting on January 2nd.
No, I hope not.
No,
you know what happened one time,
What's
Bubs?
up?
So I told you I was in this blindness program,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't even know if I even mentioned it here, but it literally started. So I was trying to apply for this thing for from June all the way to December.
Yeah.
Because I just left the blind school, and I was applying for that thing for about in the last 6 months before January. Well, and then I got a notification saying that I was accepted, and it was actually literally starting the day after New Year's. So
I know. I remember when I went to the CCB and we had Christmas vacation.
Huh?
We had to be back and start classes on January 2nd.
That's insane.
I know. And like the next year, the students got off until like the 7th or the 8th.
Wow. I honestly think that it would be a lot better. I mean, even for staff members to have an extra week off, because you're getting over Christmas and New Year's, and you're cleaning up and you're getting ready to start the year. Why not give the person an extra week?
We have way too much of an emphasis on this in this country of work nonstop, work until you can't work anymore.
I would agree.
And and that doesn't mean we all have to be like hippies like I am, but it does mean that maybe we should reevaluate the system and give people a little bit more time off.
I personally think that if our system was run like how Spain's is, right, and Greece, because I heard that European countries like Spain and Greece, they take a lot of time off, and that probably is why the Europeans are not as stressed out.
Exactly.
Because we are stressed out because we're a fast-paced country. And yeah, I'm all for people making a living, but I think there needs to be there needs to be a happy medium in between.
Yeah.
Because if they want to be there for their children and be there for their spouses or be there for themselves, they need to have some time away so that their mind is refreshed, their bodies are refreshed, and then they can do their tasks.
And that they actually want to work.
Uh-huh.
Because I think the stereotype of people not wanting to work, it's true in some cases, but I think it's overused. But I also believe that if people had more time off, they'd want to work more because they'd be excited to get back to their job because they wouldn't just be obsessing about their work all the time.
I would agree.
Yeah.
As much as I am for capitalism, I do think that people need some time off.
Yeah.
In fact, in the Bible, it talks about rest. You know, it's so healthy to rest. Because and it talks about having a Sabbath.
Yeah.
And that is a day of rest. And that you don't do work that you don't need to do.
Yep.
And I think that if we had more time to have a Sabbath rest, then we probably would be a lot nicer and a lot less stressed out.
Exactly. 4-day work week, 8 weeks of paid vacation. 8 to 10.
I knew of one of the services in Washington, I won't mention.
Go ahead.
Here, that was working with me. They did have a 4-day work week.
Yeah.
At one time.
Yeah.
And so the counselors and the staff had 3-day weekends. I'm sure they appreciated that.
Yeah.
But what Spain does, and I think this is brilliant.
What's that?
Is that they have a siesta every day.
Yes.
And people have to leave school and leave work and go home.
Yeah.
For however...
I think it's 2 hours.
2 hours. I think that's brilliant.
Yes.
And how many times have you been hearing about people not getting enough sleep? Like, and now companies have nap stations.
Yep.
I think that every company should have a nap station.
Yeah.
I really think so.
Yeah. Or let their employees have a 2-hour lunch break.
I would agree.
Yeah.
They can spend however long they want for their lunch break and maybe take a nap.
Yeah, exactly.
Take a nap, read a book, rest, and then they're fine. Like, even when I've taken like really short naps, I've felt so much better. There were times where I would have a flute lesson in like 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
And I would walk on campus from my apartment. I'm like, you know what? I need to take a nap. So I would just take a nap on my couch.
Yep. For
maybe a half hour or maybe longer if I had time. I felt so much better. I really felt so much better. Like I was rejuvenated, I was energized, and I was ready to work.
Yeah, and the system we have set up is just not cutting it because, one, we have a huge unemployment in this country, but two, the people who are employed, with some exceptions, I don't want to say everybody, but a lot of people are super, super stressed out. Yeah.
And I kind of, the motivation thing, maybe that's part of the why people are why there are some people, even older folks, are unmotivated to do that, because then that means they have to really work, and how much time will they have off? Like, they have to build up so much time before they get vacation time. And I'm like, why can't that be mandatory? You have to have vacation, and we will pay you this amount of money, and it will be enough to sustain you after your vacation.
Exactly.
I mean, in some ways, we could learn from the Europeans.
Yes.
And I think I'm all for people living their dreams here, but I also think that it's kind of hard to do that if you're working, if your nose is to the grindstone and you're working so hard that you become a workaholic. Exactly. And that can't be good. No. That can't be good. Just as much as being an alcoholic isn't good.
Balance in life, babes.
Exactly. If there were a balance, then I think people would be a lot more happier and a lot less stressed.
Yes. And we might find that out because people are really upset with our current system. in a lot of ways. And it's politicians, but it's more than just politicians. It's also how companies treat their workers. It's also how we treat each other. People are just, I've noticed this.
Mm-hmm.
And you could say, well, it's always been this way, where people have been upset at the system. And I think to some extent that's true.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe what's different now is people are talking about it so much in public.
Really quick, have you heard about this concept called quiet quitting that people are doing?
Tell me.
It's that they aren't announcing that they're quitting, but they're leading up to it. Like they're not doing necessarily what their boss is doing or is telling them to do, and they're maybe they're taking off and not coming back right away.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of doing this passively. And I don't think that's right either. That's the extreme where they quiet quit and they don't talk to their bosses about what's going on.
That's interesting. I haven't heard about that, so I need time to really think about it. What I would say to play devil's advocate is so many companies now just fire people without any warning and pay people like the base wage that I could see where some people would find that appealing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. It's something to look at. I don't think quiet quitting is at the extreme, I think. If they have a boss that expects you to do a job and they're real specific about it, but you don't want to do it.
Things can get complicated. One idea I've been thinking about, babes, is, I mean, I guess it's two, but they're kind of connected. One, how long is America going to last? And two, do you think that America is too big? That we've just become bloated as a culture, and we're too big, and we need to be broken up into smaller countries?
I don't think so.
Why not?
I don't think that America is done for, but I also think that let's use the railroad as an example, because we're talking about that a lot, aren't we?
Yeah.
People are talking about Joe Biden just averted the strike. I personally think they need to strike.
I do too.
And this is one of those once in a blue moon things where we actually agree on this, because these railroad workers, when I've been hearing about the freight train industry, they're not being treated very well, and they only want 4 days a year off, which isn't much to ask, really.
No.
I would say they should have a few days a month off, or even longer than that.
Well, you know what they said on TYT is, well, what if somebody like Bernie Sanders came out and advocated and said, okay, why don't we give the railroad workers the same amount of time off as the executives have?
Interesting.
They said that Bernie should do something like that. And that actually seems like, okay, that would make sense, because then it would force us to look at how much time these executives get off. And two, it would really, they would get more than 4 days off if that was the case. Yeah.
But the question would be, who is going to be in charge of the shipping of supplies?
Here's what you do. You hire more workers. You get more people in this. And that's part of the thing, too. I think we discussed this yesterday, is one, these shipping companies are reporting record profits, but the way they're doing it is a lot of it is through stock buyback, and a lot of it also is through firing a lot of their workers and forcing the people who are still on staff to work more. So this apparently is a situation that's gotten worse and worse over the last decade for the workers.
And as far as work in general, I heard that, when the lockdowns were happening, a lot of people were confined to their homes.
Yeah.
And a lot of restaurants were trying to hire people because they were so understaffed.
Yeah.
And it's really sad, because we need restaurants. And we need people to ship things to restaurants or drop them off. But a lot of people didn't want to work because of that. They just didn't know what to do when all this locking down was going on.
Yeah.
And it's disheartening to know that even restaurants and other small businesses are short-staffed.
Yeah, it is. And then you got to look at all the reasons they're short-staffed. So can they not afford to pay their workers a good salary too? Are people just afraid to go back to work because, You have on the news constantly, it's either you're going to die from some disease, or there's mass shootings, or, there's all these reasons why some people are just afraid to work just because of the conditions of knowing all the craziness that's going on in this country.
Well, and then if you don't want to follow health, if you want to take your health into your own hands, what's really not making it easy for people to work is that now they have to follow these health protocols.
Yeah.
But if they don't want to do it, it's like, well, is there a job that I can do that won't require me to go against what I believe in? But I think, it's hard. It's tough. I think people are starting to go back to work, but very slowly.
See, all this stuff is kind of why I think we need this country to be smaller. Because one, it would also give people a more fluid movement, because we have all these layers of bureaucracy. And a big part of that is because our country is so massive.
Yeah,
and I think if we, instead of having America, if we had like 10 smaller countries, we'd probably be better off as individuals.
I don't know if that would work. I'm a little bit skeptical because I don't know how that would work. I mean, I know it's different in Europe.
Yeah.
Because they're divided up into countries. They're not states. I don't know how it is in Africa, because Africa is a big continent. Mm-hmm. It's a big country. And I would imagine maybe they are. I don't know if they're divided up into states or provinces, and it's so different. I don't know.
Each country in Africa is a little bit different.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they are.
But like, let's say you have, for example, and I'm just making this up just to throw something out there. You had it to where Oregon, Washington, California, and Arizona were one country. And like, I don't know, Colorado, Wyoming, and like 2 or 3 other states were another country. You know what I mean? And you divide. And
where would Hawaii go?
Hawaii could be its own thing. It was its own country at one point.
It was its own territory, but I don't know if that... Well, now here's... Okay, so I really think that if Texas really wanted to secede, they could.
And there's actually a lot of things in favor of what you're saying, because it's in their state constitution. They have some rights that other states don't have.
Yeah, because they have the money to sustain themselves. Mm-hmm. Some people have been talking about it. Now, I heard that if California ends up becoming its own thing, then Jefferson County could be a thing itself.
Yeah.
But the problem that the question that I would ask is, if if we did break up, I don't know how that would... I'm still not sure what the end result would be as far as how that would happen for each of the states if they want to individually do it. I don't know how... I'm not sure how that would work.
I'm not sure how that would work either, but I've heard people talking about it, and it is interesting. I don't think that we're sustainable as we are right now. Honestly. I don't think that this way of life of our country being as big as it is can't sustain itself long term. Now, maybe you could say, well, Rick, what is long term? Maybe we could go like another 50 years like this. And in that case, it would most likely cover our lifetime. But could it cover like my nephew's lifetime? Could it cover your nephew's lifetime? I don't think so. But who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say right now. Mm-hmm. We think it's hard to see into the future and know what's really going to happen, because we really don't know what's going to be in our future, generally speaking.
Yeah.
So it's not the best to jump to conclusions. So I don't know. I can't say either or what's going to happen or what should happen.
Oh, well, good.
Oh, good.
Well, I still love you there, Jaylo.
Okay.
Yes. Babes.
Yeah?
We watched... Well, first of all, when we were making dinner, mm-hmm. At first we listened to Music Planet, and they were talking about another show on the BBC Sounds app, which I believe is broadcast on Radio 3.
Okay. Do you want to talk about that first, or do you want to talk about Afropop?
Oh, let's talk about Afropop, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. We listened to Afropop worldwide yesterday,
Mhm.
an episode, and it was concentrating on the refresh my memory.
It was concentrating generally on Cuban music.
Yeah.
And it mentioned something about tobacco and sugar. So I'm not sure if I'm not exactly sure what that means, or maybe they were it had to do with the history of tobacco and sugar in the country.
Yeah, because I think that they process tobacco and there's sugar cane there. I could be wrong. But.
And the music was super good. I liked the narrator, and he was able to speak in Spanish and English, and how he was explaining like when Fidel Castro died, they had to have a 9 days of mourning, and that also meant that they couldn't play music.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that's insane.
It is.
And then you commented and said, oh, maybe it's because they were told to do it, because it's a communistic regime.
Yeah, because you thought that the people decided to do this. And I gave the example of North Korea when that one dude died in 2010.
Kim Jong-il.
Yep. Your buddy.
My buddy.
I believe there was something like a 30 days of mourning, and people actually went to the death camps in North Korea, because you could be reported on if you weren't crying hard enough at the fact that he had died.
That's insane.
Your neighbors could actually turn you in for that.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Or they could turn you in certain countries if you were listening to a certain type of music.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily know if it's like the people of Fidel Castro in his regime, if the individual citizens were just so sad that they had to mourn his passing, or was a government thing.
Right.
Yeah.
It might have been and so you made a point, it might have been a government thing, but I think North Korea is even more dictatorial than Cuba.
Yeah, like I don't necessarily think you were going to go to a death camp if you were against the 9 days of mourning, but you might have gotten a little bit of jail time or some fines.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it's no way to live.
No.
But I thought 9 days of mourning, that's crazy. With no music. I couldn't even imagine myself not listening to music every day.
Yeah, I know, me neither.
I just can't imagine myself.
I'm really getting into Afropop worldwide.
Yeah.
And I know that the episode I played you yesterday, maybe, not yesterday, but last week, maybe wasn't the best introduction, but I didn't know what it was going to be when we started listening.
And it was short, and it was just, a white reporter.
Yeah.
Not to say that was bad, but it was just like a white reporter talking to an African guy that was playing on the New York subway.
It sounded too NPR-ish.
Yeah, because he's like, you contribute so much to this country because you're here and you're playing music. Why would you want to move to Canada? And I'm like, okay. That's interesting. I don't know. I liked his music, though.
Yeah.
But I would have loved to have known more about how... I think maybe he may have talked about how he got into it, but it just seemed like all he wanted to talk about is, why are you leaving this country?
Exactly.
And going to Canada. I'm like, that's his choice.
And I know that Afropop Worldwide airs on some NPR stations, but it's not all as NPR-ish as what I played you last week.
Right.
What I like about it, and I told you this yesterday, in some ways it feels like an audiobook about music instead of your typical radio show.
Yeah, and this narrator, I'm guessing he may have been from Cuba, or maybe he lived there. I don't know.
I don't know.
But he was really good.
Well, they have a lot of ethnomusicologists who work for the show.
Yeah.
And who help with the scripts. So I don't think that he'd spent time in Cuba. I could be wrong. But
it sounded like he did.
It sounded like that. But there were people there, researchers who had known what was going on in Cuba as far as music goes. And they interviewed people from that area. So it's a really good program.
Ethnomusicology is fascinating. When I was learning about the tuning systems in Middle Eastern countries like Pakistan and Afghanistan, it's really interesting. And even in India, because they have a certain way of dividing up a song. Like a lot of them have calls to prayer. And then they have like a way that the song is set up, and their tuning system is like, whoa, it's so different.
Yeah. When you were in the shower this morning, I started listening to ethnomusicology, a very short introduction,
Mm-hmm.
which Oxford does a very short introduction books. I haven't gotten too far into it, but
Is that from Bard?
well, Oxford does the books, but Bard had a copy of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm excited to get into it, though. I was a little bit tired because we didn't really sleep that well last night.
Yeah, I had a hard time, and
So did I.
I didn't get up officially until like after 10,
Yeah.
or close to 10 rather. I was part of me, I couldn't go to sleep because it was cold, it was windy,
Mm-hmm.
and also my elbows were kind of dry, and that can be irritating. And my body just wouldn't let me sleep, and then I slept for a little bit. I woke up at, I think it was 2:30 or 3, and then I didn't go back to sleep until probably between 5 and 6-ish. And then I woke up at, close to 10.
I went to bed around 1.
Oh.
I woke up around 4, went back to sleep maybe 5, and I don't even know what time I got up. I think close to 7.
Oh.
Yeah, and then I just finished my Teddy Roosevelt book.
Oh.
But it's the first volume in the series, so it's good, though. It ended on the point where he finds out that McKinley died, and he's going to be the next president.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
But we watched some interesting movies.
But before we get to the movies, babes, we were going to talk about that show we listened to on the BBC yesterday.
Oh, yes.
So the lady on Music Planet says, our guest today is going to be on
Late Junction.
So I think to myself, oh yeah, that's another BBC show. I've heard about it, but I've never listened to it. Now, the BBC, what I like about them is they're very experimental. I know most people know about them here because of their news programs, but if you listen to their music shows, they have stuff that's more mainstream, especially on Radio 1, but they have a lot of shows that'll play stuff that's outside of the beaten path, and I really enjoy that. Mm-hmm. Late Junction might take that a step too far for my personal taste, though.
I would agree. There was some weird, not just obscure stuff, but really weird stuff.
We gave it a full episode.
I mean, there was one piece that all I could hear was instruments, and there was no melody.
Yeah.
It almost sounded like a John Cage piece.
Yes. Yeah.
Referring to 4 minutes and 33 seconds.
That's the piano thing where you have the dude sit down and the guy just didn't play anything, right?
No, 4 minutes. Well, that's part of his pieces. Yes, there was a piece like that because he had an album that had that, and that was really weird. But one piece was when there was a bunch of people on stage, and you heard someone with a downbeat. Yeah. And then you heard coughing, and you heard some other things, and they were just sounds coming from the stage.
Well, let me ask you something. As somebody who studied music and who played music professionally and all that stuff.
Well, not quite professional.
Well, you got paid for playing music at some point.
I did?
Allegedly. We're going to say that now.
Not quite. But
if the IRS is listening, it was monopoly money. But here's my question for you.
What's that?
I don't see you as a diehard John Cage fan, but
not by any means.
No, but do you appreciate what he did in music, or do you look at him as just some weirdo who didn't really bring anything to the table musically?
I appreciate it. I mean, he did an album called Street Sounds. I don't know if you heard of it, but it's
I've heard
basically
of it.
Sound on the street. Now, that personally to me doesn't seem like music, but you could appreciate it and say, you know what? You can find little nuggets of if you really listen, you could probably find some little musical nuggets, even if you don't think it's music. He takes a very contemporary way of he uses a very contemporary way of thinking about what music should sound like.
Yeah, I've noticed there's like a love-hate relationship with him and musicians. Yeah. I have a lot of friends who play music who love his stuff, and I have other people who don't dig it. Mm-hmm. I've tried to listen to his music. It's a little bit too avant-garde for me.
It is very avant-garde. Yeah. I think that's the right word. I think he takes a lot of liberties with sounds. Yes. But I appreciate it because I'm a blind person and I'm fascinated with noises. I'm fascinated with sounds. I've always been that way, but when I think about music, I want to actually have a melody, a harmony, things that actually sound nice to me. As much as I don't think that this is music per se,
Yeah.
I can understand why he would appreciate it, and I have an appreciation for it.
Okay.
Even
That's
though
fair.
I'm not going to listen to any John Cage albums anytime soon.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not putting on John Cage when we're making dinner tonight.
No, that's... I don't want to hear... Whoever's calling me has to stop it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's important, honestly, but
Probably
I'm going to check. I'm going to check.
Good. After we do this.
Yeah.
But we appreciate who he was. We celebrate his life, all that good stuff.
Which is interesting because, well, John Cage was a character on Ally McBeal, and he was a little bit strange. Played by Peter O'Toole.
Nice.
Yeah. His name was John Cage.
Well, good. Well, good. But so we might not be re-listening to Late Junction today. But there's other shows we can.
Yeah, I mean, you know how much I love Take the Floor. I think it's like the happiest Scottish music show ever.
And there's a new episode of J to Z that came out today.
And I'm really liking J to Z.
Yeah, I thought you would. That's why I wanted to play it for you that one day.
Was J to Z the one with the Japanese rock band, or was that Music Planet?
That was Music Planet, but J to Z, I've heard Japanese music on there before. And
I like that they have guests.
Yeah, and they'll do, like, they did a tribute to Ron Carter one day. They do a lot of cool different types of shows.
I liked the live J to Z show that they did.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. I like that band from Chicago and how they probably took some cues from soul artists. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm really enjoying Music Planet, J to Z, and Take the Floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to go and explore the BBC Sounds app for myself now.
I think you'd really like it once you do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because if I didn't want to go on YouTube or whatever I go on, I can listen to music.
Mm-hmm. Very good, Jaylo.
Very good. It's good, but we should talk about the movies.
We should. Alana wanted to see a movie called Stagecoach.
Because I've never seen it. We've seen a few John Wayne movies, and we liked most of them, except for maybe The Searchers.
And we've discussed that I'm not really a John Wayne fan, not just of his politics, but I don't think that he's that good of an actor. I think that he's very one-dimensional, and I know a lot of people who disagree with me on this. Mm-hmm. To me, there's not a lot there. And again, it's not just because of his politics, because look at somebody like James Woods, who's like super talented. But John Wayne, it's just like, ugh. Or a better example would actually be Jon Voight, who turns me off more politically, but you cannot deny that Jon Voight is a master actor.
I think I like Jimmy Stewart stuff than John Wayne stuff.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
And especially since Jimmy Stewart was actually a war hero and
John Wayne pretended.
John Wayne was not. I can appreciate that John Wayne did a lot of movies that people like because he was in a lot of westerns.
Yeah, you can respect the fact that he was able to sustain a career.
Even if he didn't agree with Clint Eastwood because he's very conservative on his politics, mm-hmm. he is a great actor for a lot of the old movies he did, like especially the Outlaw Josie Wales and Play Misty for Me,
and an underrated director because he directed both those movies. It's kind of it is a shame that it looks like his last film is going to be that horrible
Cry
movie,
Macho.
Yeah, which don't watch that. That's not the Clint Eastwood movie you need to watch. He made a lot of great films.
Yes, he did. I mean, The Unforgiven.
Unforgiven's awesome.
Is it Unforgiven?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that was very, very good. And Play Misty for Me was creepy, but it was good.
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too, but he was good in that one too.
Pale Rider's good.
Pale Rider.
Even though I think it's a little bit of just like redoing the Outlaw Josie Wales, but not as good. It's still a good movie. It's still worth watching.
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah, that's good too.
That's a good one too.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard good stuff about In the Line of Fire. Mm. He's an excellent filmmaker. Mm-hmm. But that's what happens. You get old and you get kind of like out of touch. And it's unfortunate that his career is ending on such a down note.
Yeah, but you don't know that. You didn't know that would be his last movie?
Well, he's in his mid-90s now. It's unlikely that he's going to direct anything else. And in fact, Warner Brothers, under their new management, has ended their relationship with El Paso Entertainment, which was his production studio.
El Paso Entertainment?
Yeah, was Clint Eastwood's production company. And Warner Brothers has severed ties with them under their new management.
So it wasn't like they wanted to do that. It was under new management?
It was under new management, so they're not going to work with him. If you know anything about Clint Eastwood's history, yes, he's done films with other studio, but in a sense, Warner Brothers was always like his home studio, where he would make most of his classics. There's an interesting interview with Quentin Tarantino that happened in 1994, where he mentioned Clint Eastwood's relationship with Warner Brothers, and he said it's not your typical relationship. It's very old school, and it feels more like a family. He said something like, Clint Eastwood is going to get invited to the Warner Brothers picnic party next year, regardless of whether his next movie is a hit or not, because he's just part of the Warner Brothers family. So, I don't know. Yes.
I don't know. But anyway.
Jaylo, you took us off a Stagecoach again.
No, you did.
Okay.
You would admit that.
Oh.
I did not. You know what? I didn't understand this movie.
They're on a journey. At one point, somebody gives birth to a baby, but we're not even really aware that she's pregnant.
Yeah, because you hear that when she's getting into the coach, this lady's like, "Oh, you really should have a doctor with you." And I'm like, "What's wrong with this lady?"
And John Wayne is this outlaw criminal, but he's like the nicest criminal you've ever met.
Yeah, Ringo, the kid.
Yeah.
They call him Ringo, and I'm like, why is he going to jail for a year?
He seems like a nice dude.
He seemed like he's not like shooting everybody like when they were getting into I don't know. But they were on their way because they wanted to fight the Apaches. They were at war with the Apaches.
Yeah. I know that this is the film that made him a star, and people cite this as an excellent example of his work with John Ford.
Was this his first movie?
No. In fact, there was a documentary I saw in the 1990s. I wish I remember the name of it. It actually aired on the WB of all places.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was basically about John Wayne's early films before making Stagecoach, and they interviewed a lot of people who he knew and some film critics, including Leonard Maltin. I believe Leonard Maltin may have actually narrated the documentary, but the gist of it was that John Wayne would basically make these low budget movies in the 1930s, and when I say low budget, the budgets were around $10,000.
Wow.
Even back then, they said in the documentary that was considered dirt cheap, and he'd do like a movie a week.
Really?
And he was respected in the industry. People knew him, but he really didn't get a chance to shine until John Ford cast him in this movie.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting.
I don't get what the appeal is for Stagecoach, though.
I don't get it either. I wish I understood it. I can only give it a 6.
To me, this speaks to the problems of Westerns in general. With a few exceptions, I don't really like the genre.
I like them if they actually have a plot. I mean, I liked the one movie I liked with him and Jimmy Stewart was The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance.
That's a classic.
And there was other ones that I liked too. I can't think of I'm trying to remember if Jimmy Stewart was in another one.
Jimmy Stewart's been in a bunch of Westerns, but that's the only one that we've watched with him in it, I think.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I thought we did.
Well, we've seen other movies with Jimmy Stewart, obviously, but I think that's the only Western we've watched with him. I've heard good things about Winchester 73 and about a couple of other of his Westerns, but I haven't watched them.
I saw parts of a Western called Hang 'em High, and I heard that one's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the Clint Eastwood Westerns.
Yeah.
But that's really as far as I go. I don't go deep with the Western
I don't
genre.
either. I mean, if Jimmy Stewart and or Clint I can't talk. If Jimmy Stewart and or Clint Eastwood and if they were in a Western, I'd watch it. John Wayne, if the Western is good with the plot, then maybe I'd watch it.
Mm-hmm. But one of John Wayne's, or the film that people say is his best movie, is The Searchers. And we didn't like that.
It was hard to understand.
Yeah.
Because the girl was missing. Well, we even discussed this in a different one, and we don't have to go into it, but I thought it was slightly better than Stagecoach.
I would agree.
Yeah, because Stagecoach, I was just like, what? I don't get this.
It's too bad. I would probably give it a 5.5, but I'm a little bit more critical than you are.
Yeah.
So, not that good.
I give it at least a 6.
Oh.
Maybe even lower than that.
Well, here's a question.
Huh?
What rating is good enough for a thumbs up or equivalent to a thumbs up? Because a 5.5, I would give it a thumbs down. But one can make the argument that anything over a 5, even if it's like a half a point, is a thumbs up. To me, a 6.5 is like a mild thumbs up, and a 7 is like, yeah, it's a good movie. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about this?
Well, if I understood the plot, I give it. I'd at least give it a 7, but I didn't get it.
So, I think what I'm hearing you saying is a 6.5 for you is still a thumbs down.
I guess. I don't know.
Uh-oh.
I don't know how movie ratings things go.
It's kind of abstract.
Yeah.
Which is kind of why I wanted to try and define it with you, but I guess that's not happening now, babes.
I don't know, Bob. I'd at least give this movie a 6.
Yeah.
Which isn't that great, honestly.
Now, we will say this. After The Searchers, which I may have fallen asleep for part of it, we watched a movie.
We didn't watch The Searchers. We watched The Stagecoach.
Oh, well, yeah, like 7 months after The Searchers. And a few minutes after Stagecoach. We watched a movie that neither of us was really sure was going to be any good, but we ended up really enjoying it.
Yeah, and it was a pretty good cast. Paul Newman, Shelley Winters, who had a small role in there, Janet Leigh,
Lauren Bacall,
Robert Wagner. I'm not sure which part Robert Wagner played.
I don't know, but the movie was called Harper.
Yes.
I really enjoyed this film.
Yes, it was really good.
Yeah. Basic plot line is Paul Newman is kind of like this down on his luck detective who's getting a divorce, is good at his job, but doesn't really have things together. And I love stories like that.
Yeah.
He's hired to investigate the kidnapping of this rich dude named
Ralph Sampson.
And nobody really likes him.
Yep.
The daughter isn't that sad that he's gone. The wife hires him, but we get the sense that she is mainly doing this because she wants an alibi.
Right.
So it comes out very quickly that Harper's friend, whose name is...
he had 2 of them. He had this guy named Alan, who he calls Beauty, and then there's another guy named Albert.
Albert is dating Ralph Sampson's daughter.
Yep.
There's a lot here. I don't want to go into all of it. But by the end of the movie, we discover that Albert was part of the plot. And he either has to kill Paul Newman or Paul Newman is going to let everybody know what's going on. And that's how the movie ends, is they both kind of are like, oh, fuck. Because
that's not what they said.
What did they say?
Oh, hell.
Oh, okay.
And I only said that just because it was I wanted to explain it.
Well, by the way, when I said what you thought was the F word, I meant it spelled with a PH. So it's not a swear.
No, it is.
Oh.
And the only reason why I said what I just said is because I wanted to clarify it's not what he said.
Uh-oh. Well, babes, no. Don't just start ripping my machine apart.
Oh, cool.
What?
I did it.
What?
I actually grabbed it away from you.
Yeah, but you were going to throw it against the wall.
No, I wasn't.
Take his Wick's iPad, but not mine.
Oh, that's the other thing we did yesterday, babes. We set up your keyboard.
Oh, yeah. That's right. That was really cool. Now, I have an easier way to text people because sometimes using a touch screen, can get a little bit, it can get a little bit irritating because if you're not careful, you could press the wrong key or do something and the keyboard would stop working.
Yeah, it actually seemed like a cool setup. I might even have to get one of those.
It is cool. It's an iClever.
Yes.
And I like it a lot.
But back to Hopple.
Yes.
Because I know you like to hop.
I know.
I enjoyed this film. I'd probably give it like an 8 or an 8.5.
I give it an 8. The plot was really good. There was a lot of twists and turns. He had to kill one of his friends because his friend tried to kill him. And then you've got Betty Fraley, who was in on the thing too. Mm-hmm. She's a fat
actress.
She's a fat actress, and she also did. I think she also sang at the bar.
There's a lot of humor in this movie, but it doesn't get in the way of the plots. And I found out during my bout with insomnia that it's based on a book. Mm-hmm. And apparently it's a series of books that were written. In 1975, Paul Newman starred in a sequel to this film, which might be interesting to check out sometime.
I don't know. I'm a little bit leery about sequels.
Oh,
as you are too.
I am too.
I mean,
but it is based on an actual book in the series, the sequel. So
that is true.
And Paul Newman did reprise his role, so I'd be open to it.
Paul Newman was really good in this.
He was.
Shelley Winters was comical, but she really did play a really good drunk.
I liked Lauren Bacall. All the performances were good.
Miranda, mommy has something to tell you.
When she finds out her husband's dead.
And when she finds out she's having a candlelit dinner.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, that's just terrible. And you know that she's rejoicing. Mm-hmm. Yay, he's gone. And Albert ended up killing him.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it was just,
good stuff.
But there's some other things that are in between that you should watch. You should see because it's really good.
What would you rate this movie on the scale from 1 to 10?
I just did. I said I would give it an 8.
Okay, good.
You weren't paying attention.
I was. You said that in your mind, or I didn't hear you. What? Well, let me ask you this. Would you recommend this film to your family? And if so, what would you say to get them to watch it?
I won't say anything.
Oh.
I think, a lot of times I wouldn't have to say anything because just the name Paul Newman alone, I think they would watch it.
So you'll be like, Mom, you should watch Hopper. 2 words. Paul and Newman.
I think they would like it. I wouldn't have to sell it on them.
Nice.
I wouldn't have to sell them on it, rather.
Well, good.
It's good.
Very good, Jaylo.
It's so good.
Yes. Well, babes.
Yeah?
I think we covered everything worth covering.
We covered quite a bit.
Yep.
And a little bit of tickling in between.
I did not appreciate that, but I'll learn to live with it.
You will.
Oh. And you might want to check your phone, so maybe we should wrap this up.
Okay.
First, let's have a kiss.
Okay.
All right.
Bubs.
What's up?
Stop distracting me.
Sorry, I didn't know.
I actually want to focus on this.
All right, let's focus.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my badness.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye for now.